In the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean, where trade routes crisscross maritime ambitions, lies a string of emerald jewels, India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These aren't just idyllic shores, they are the front line, a vital stronghold in India's defense against any rising tides of influence or threats. Here, within the unique Andaman and Nicobar Tri-Service Command, the ANC, India's Navy, Army, Air Force and Coast Guard are positioned as one. The Navy and Coast Guard patrol and project power. The Army maintains a vigilant watch, ready for any contingency. And the Air Force provides eyes in the sky and extends India's reach, all under a joint operational command. But why such a unified defense? Because just beyond the horizon, China's increasing maritime presence casts a long shadow. From its mushrooming fleet to its strategic port developments, Beijing's ambitions in the Indian Ocean directly impact India's security as well as regional stability. The Andaman and Nicobar Command isn't just about protecting territory, it's about deterring aggression, ensuring freedom of navigation, and safeguarding the future of the Indo-Pacific. These outposts are in fact one of India's most powerful strategic force multipliers, a springboard, an arc of power.
Very good. 2 ahead both engines.
MC 2 ahead both engines.
2 ahead both engines. 3 ahead both engines.
3 ahead both engines.
3 ahead both engines.
Very good. Both engine a bit 1.5.
So what is so unique about the ANC?
Very good.
It is unique in more ways than one. How could I give an example for your audiences who may not be so, it may not come so easily if I use military terms. We have something called Hindu undivided family in India. There's one Karta of the HUF. There is also a traditional saying, एक म्यान में एक ही तलवार होती है. Meaning to say that when authority and accountability resides in one persona, it is easier, your decision cycles are faster, your operational tempo can be much faster. If you account for 26% of our coastline and 30% of our EEZ, there would be great porosity. You have satellites with steering arrays. If you are in geosynchronous orbit, they are looking at the same place. But satellites even in low Earth orbit have a repeat time. In a similar manner, you have a revisit time. So your entire Navy and Coast Guard and aeroplanes and ships and radar coverage cannot be like that steering array looking at the same place. So you have a series of measures to patrol and secure your interests. So to that extent, this integrated command has made it very convenient to make sure responsibilities and reactions are divided and we better protect our interests.
We have been documenting the protection of those interests. From Sri Vijayapuram, the capital of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, known as Port Blair till September 2024, we have sailed to Rutland Island in episode 1. Then up to Ariel Bay, Diglipur and INS Kohassa near the Coco Islands in episode 2. And now we are headed south across the 10-degree channel to Tarasa, a Nicobar island. There is another big tri-service amphibious exercise scheduled there. It's a distance of more than 300 nautical miles or 560 kilometers, and our home away from home is the INS Saryu. After a couple of days at INS Kohassa, this vital naval air station's critical location is clear. Ships in the area and aircraft from the soon-to-be extended runway monitor activity in the vital sea lines, from the nearby Coco Islands to Bangladesh and Myanmar, all with varying Chinese presence. The extended neighborhood is equally critical, all the way to and from the crucial Malacca Straits, a hectic maritime superhighway. Over 90,000 ships carry oil, essential goods and other world trade through the straits every year, into and through the ANC's Area of Responsibility or AOR. Thousands of feet above that AOR, elite Marcos, Marine commandos regularly perform parachute jumps. Here they jump from a dornier above Diglipur, INS Kohassa and the Kalipur beach that we documented in episode 2. Except the sound of wind, these Marcos freefall silently from high above the clouds and aim to maneuver undetected onto remote landing zones. The view from this para-jump gives a clear aerial picture of the runway, the Kalipur beach and the smaller nearby islands. These jumps sharpen the Special Forces' rapid reaction capabilities, letting the ANC project their force well before the adversary even knows they're there. So how does the ANC's current capabilities stack up with its requirements?
There are two ways of looking at it, is to base more and more assets in those islands or to have those assets available on deployment from the mainland. Both options are available and I think it's always been a combination of both options. So how to best orchestrate that, of course, is a problem for the current leadership to solve. I would not have any specific recommendations on that, but in terms of infrastructure, in terms of sensor capability, in terms of the ability to play its role in, say, domain awareness, space domain awareness, maritime domain awareness, I think the islands are very, very strategically located and are being thought of increasingly like that. Not only that, for economic development itself, those islands are critical and they show a lot of potential.
That potential revealed in 2 days we spent at Kohassa. The weather is clear and the water calm when we leave the North Andamans. But as we are soon to find out, all that can change in a flash. The first signs of storms ahead are when we are passing Srivijayapuram or SVP around 8 p.m. About 2 hours later, in the choppy 10-degree channel, a decision is taken to turn back because there are big developments in the archipelago's capital, more of which later. The churn in the sea is quite evident from a walk in the INS Saryu's corridors. Even our cameras roll out of focus as we try to roll with the waves. Staying focused is also the aim when naval ships change their interior lighting from white to red during nighttime operations for tactical and human factors. Human eyes are less sensitive to red wavelengths, So when light is kept in this spectrum, sailors can quickly adapt to the outside darkness. Also, controlling interior lighting to a red hue minimizes any light spill that might reveal a ship's position. It's nearing 5 a.m. when we make the approach back to the SVP harbour. The black of night is punctuated with lightning bolts that fleetingly but stunningly make the clouds, sea and land ahead visible before plunging us back into the dark. It sometimes looks like a scary surreal painting. The only difference is that we are sailing through it. There's still some rain in the air and visibility is still low. And a slight tension is palpable in the bridge. It is experience and training that rises to the surface when needed in handling what could have been a crisis but wasn't. Soon there is more light as tugs help the Saryu into the SVP harbour. And we are soon smoothly and gently alongside. In SVP, the ANC has a big announcement to make. It's a perfect example of the coordination between the multiple components.
Protecting the youth and future generations of this nation from the scourge of drug trafficking.
There has been a very high number of catches of poachers who have mainly originated out of Burma.
Crew, as they were not only knowing Burmese language and they were not well conversant with any English or so we cannot right now pinpoint to it where this drug was destined to be also.
A Myanmarese boat with 5,500 kilograms of meth has been seized. The command says it's the biggest drug haul in Indian maritime history. We interviewed the then Sincan on Strat News, as well as the captain of the Coast Guard ship Aruna Asaf Ali for our sister channel Bharat Shakti on the swift action taken in rough seas.
Thank you and Jay.
This kind of coordinated multi-service action highlights the nature of the ANC's integrated operational command.
China has done it, America has done it. You have integrated theatres. An integrated theatre command or a theatre is an integrated command. But all war fighting elements come under one person and they are integrated. At the moment, yes, you may have cooperation, jointmanship and everything. But when you have verticals reporting to their respective headquarters, and of course by extrapolation to their service chiefs, you will have a regional headquarter, you have 8 of them in the army, 7 of them in the air force, 3 of them in the navy. So these regional headquarters are reporting to their respective headquarters and they are integrating actions at Delhi. But today's warfare is getting far more faster, it's being played out on social media, in living rooms, response times are lesser. So when you make someone accountable and give him the authority and the accountability, your response would always be faster. And that is what I think the Kargil Review Committee 21 years or 22 years ago now put into place with great foresight in the case of the Andaman.
Like in any command, if military personnel need rest and recuperation, so do the machines. We head off to the SVP's dry docks. That's where the Indian Navy, Coast Guard and civilian vessels find respite and renewal. Think of dry docks as large, precision-engineered bathtubs for warships, civilian and merchant vessels. A ship needs regular maintenance, repair and refit. Below the waterline, barnacles accumulate, paint corrodes and critical systems require attention. That's where these dry docks come in. INS Jarava, established in 1964 at Sri Vijayapuram, serves as a crucial naval base for the ANC. A key component of its infrastructure is its floating dry dock naval assets, Floating Dock Navy FDN-1 and FDN-2. FDN-1 with a capacity of up to 11,000 tons and the smaller FDN-2, 8,000 tons, are vital for maintaining the readiness of the ANC's diverse fleet in this strategically critical region. Unlike traditional fixed dry docks, these are structures designed to submerge by filling ballast tanks, allowing a ship to float in. Once positioned, the water is pumped out, lifting both the dock and the vessel clear of the sea for maintenance and repairs. This floating function provides immense operational flexibility and economic efficiency. They can be moved to various locations as needed, reducing the time and cost in sending ships to mainland shipyards for routine upkeep or urgent repairs. This significantly reduces turnaround times, keeping more naval assets deployed in this critical region. In essence, these dry docks and their personnel are unsung heroes, working away from the spotlight to ensure India's maritime security and project its naval power across the Indo-Pacific. It's past sundown as we return to the Saryu to prepare for night sailing to Tarasa Island for the multi-service amphibious exercises. The weather has settled somewhat as we pass through the 10-degree channel this time. Setting a camera out in the black of the night for star trail shots results in this surreal yet striking blend of celestial motion and maritime adventure. We nicknamed them Jalebi shots.
Best operating first arrive bearing 160. Very good.
Early next morning, we are prepped again on safety before leaving the Saryu for Tarasa Island.
For the ship per se, it is actually very relaxed. The sea state is not bad, but the journey is not going to be easy, right? So be on the careful side. And I hope you are aware of the operation of this life jacket.
Not really.
Okay. So now ideally this life jacket is supposed to inflate automatically.
Yeah.
On the left side. If you look on the left side, there is a red color. This is the one.
Yeah.
You can see this tab. So you just pull it.
Okay.
You pull it, it's supposed to get inflated.
Okay.
If it still doesn't get inflated, then on the right side, you have to. So this is from where this is the life jacket. You can see this is the yellow thing that is life jacket. So you have to open it. If you open it, इसके अंदर
पाइप है.
Yeah, now then this is the one. ये जो फ्लाइट में लाल नली बोलते रहते हैं, this is the same thing. You just open it and you just blow into it. That's it. It's actually having a, if you see, if you can feel here, there's a cylinder here, which is a CO2 cylinder. Second you pull it, it will get inflated. Check it. There is a safety reason from my point of view. 99.999%, nothing is required.
This disembarkation from Saryu's quarterdeck is going to be different from our previous ones in Rutland and Kohassa. and a lot scarier for us novice sailors. We'll be in the famed Geminis.
जैसे ऊपर आएगा तब तक करना पड़ेगा अभिषेक खींचेगा तो और ज्यादा धक्का लगेगा छोड़ दे आराम से स्टार्बोर्ड वाटर फ्लो करेंगे मन में वो पायरेट्स ऑफ द कैरिबियन का म्यूजिक आ रहा है
Holding on for dear life, we make it to the beach without any spills. Getting off though is a little too hasty and the Gemini knocks me off my feet. With everything except my pride intact, I make for quite a bedraggled, look at what the cat brought in kind of sight amidst the peals of laughter that are more nervous energy than cruel colleagues. Tarasa and Nicobar Group Island hold significant strategic importance for the tri-service ANC. This crescent-shaped island, like others in the archipelago, serves as the vital outpost for India's maritime presence in the Bay of Bengal and the broader Indo-Pacific. Its location places it far closer to various South and Southeast Asian nations than to the Indian mainland. SVP is 381 kilometers from Tarasa. From the island, the distance to Chennai and Visakhapatnam is approximately 1500 kilometers, and Kolkata is around 1650 kilometers away. In contrast, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands' proximity to neighboring countries highlights its geopolitical value. Myanmar's Coco Islands is merely 22 nautical miles, approximately 40 kilometers from the northernmost Andaman Island landfall. Indonesia's Sabang port in Sumatra is approximately 180 kilometers from the southernmost point of Great Nicobar, Indra Point, which is relatively close to Tarasa Island. And Phuket in Thailand is about 570 kilometers to the east. The gateway to the Malacca Strait, a global shipping choke point, is just 160 kilometers or 88 nautical miles from Campbell Bay on Greater Nicobar Island. This strategic positioning enables the ANC to effectively monitor maritime traffic, counter piracy, conduct search and rescue operations, and project power across this crucial maritime domain. We are here to document a multi-service operation against an enemy-held beach and island. Quite a distance away from where we are positioned is a designated para-jump zone. An Indian Air Force C-130 that has flown in from an Uttar Pradesh airbase has both Indian Army troops and Indian Navy Marcos para-jumpers on board. Over 4 dozen parachutists jump from a height of 6,500 feet in what's called combat freefall or CFF. They will make their way from the flanks to the beach area to combine with other forces. Even from a distance, our cameras do catch the parachutes as they circle their way to the designated landing zone.
They're all behind that cloud cover.
In the morning, there was an airborne drop undertaken by the paratroopers, that's the airborne forces, which have undertaken a drop early in the morning, which were mainly covered into three parts. One is the free fall part of it, and the second is the DBSL part of it, and third is the static line fall. In this complete team group strength of paratroopers have dropped into an island territory which has been threatened or which could be threatened. In that case of scenario, they will just drop and then thereafter RV to a particular location and then come to the beach, which can be secured before the beaching operation is undertaken.
So if you could tell us a little bit about Marcos's role or capability in the ANC.
As you know, we are the only special force in the entire Andaman and Nicobar Command, and here we are extensively utilized for all kinds of special operations that involve any operation behind enemy lines, any operation which comes to our shore, anti-piracy, any anti-terrorism, any hostage rescue, hijacking operation. So we are extremely utilized for all the operations conducted by Andaman and Nicobar Command.
Again, we see it even right now. Some operations couldn't take place because of the tide. If you could highlight both the challenges in terms of weather and other factors.
The challenges in terms of an airborne drop is, I would say, in such kind of island territory, is the biggest challenge is the wind factor. Because once the static line drop takes place, the canopy drifts away with the wind. So since it is an island territory within a span of a very limited number of kilometers,
it may happen at times that a paratrooper might drift away to the sea and the water, although the contingencies and the trainings have been imparted to the people that in such kind of contingency also they can land, swim across and come back to the coast, but that will entail a lot of time penalty wherein the operation may be jeopardized in terms of time.
So these are some of the active combat operations. Benign roles include assisting command in undertaking HADR operations, as all commandos are divers also. So we have the capability of providing support, especially in the islands, where we are vulnerable to tsunami, we are vulnerable to cyclones. So we are also helping command in looking into HADR missions also.
A recent Marcos mission in the Gulf of Aden also highlights this potent and long arm of the ANC.
The mission was conducted at a distance of 1200 plus kilometers from the mainland, in the middle of the Arabian Sea, and where the Marcos were inserted, and we successfully neutralized the terrorists, I would say, and pirates. And then we rescued all the hostages, and we finally released our people from there. So this is one of the capability which is only available with marine commandos in the entire country. We are the only force, special forces, which is capable of operating in all three dimensions. That is underwater, which is our core capability. Marcos are the only force which has got extensive deployments underwater. And then there is on surface, we have got high-speed crafts, boats which support us for all these anti-piracies. And then by air, so we have the capability of getting launched at extended ranges. So we are just depending on the aircraft, the endurance and the range, and we can be deployed in the Indonesian Sea.
Back to the Tarasa dimension. Over the beach itself, Mission 1 is a first run attack, an FRA. Before landing on the beach, intelligence has been gathered of all hostile elements. Spotters then give that information to helicopters which are called in for a battlefield airstrike mission. Two Mi-17 V5 helicopters come in with rocket pods that would fire on hostile targets. They are intended to saturate the target area quickly, disrupting the enemy defenses and paving the way for follow-on operations. From the sea, there would be naval gunfire support or NGS from ships that would bombard the beach to soften it up for landing by other amphibious vessels. The three major ships of this flotilla, the Kora class INS Karmuk and Kulish, and our mothership INS Saryu, sandwiched in between, are part of this exercise. They pass by and they run before sailing to a holding position. The water jet fast attack craft, the INS Koradev and the INS Cherium are also part of this naval column. Meanwhile, 8 amphibious ships led by INS Kesari approach the beach in an arrow formation for what's called a standoff beaching, where they would offload armored vehicles and troops. Like in Rutland in episode 1, they can be used for beaching operations right at the shore too, with BMPs and troops. After that is a strafing mission that's conducted by fixed-wing aircraft. Here, Dorniers, which can fire small arms, play their part in softening targets. Strafing can also be undertaken by fighter aircraft from aircraft carriers or shore-based fighters. Once the targets are softened, amphibious beaching operations would be carried out. Apart from the CFF Special Force parachutists, so that the beaching operations are not attacked from the flanks, special heliborne operations (SHBO) are also carried out on both sides of the beach. Five helicopters come in that formation. Four Mi-17s induct dozens of troops in 3 minutes in various spots of the beach, which have already been cleared by the FRA missions. One helicopter orbits in front of the beach to take on any remaining hostile targets.
So what we have tried to simulate today is that this island is an objective which has been occupied by our adversaries, and we need to take it back. So we have tried to put all elements of armed forces power into this. So the first element was that we inserted troops using the initially by freefall, and then what we call the static line jump. So we also utilized this opportunity to do some trials on that. So that is what was done, and they would, after having established a firm base, will come onto the beach, sanitize this area, and having dominated, provide for the subsequent forces to build up using that. But it could also be that you will still have pockets of opposition out here. So then we have to bring the firepower which is available with us. That is the Mi-17, which if you recall did the first strafing run and then went off. The next set of people who came in was the Naval Gunfire Support Team, NGS as it is called. So all the ships which went past, they would use their long range guns, neutralize the whatever threat exists on the beach and continue. So that now we can get the amphibious forces in. Now the link up of all elements will take place. That means the paras would have linked up here, the SHBO troops would have linked up, and the amphibious troops will link up. And thereafter they will spread out depending on the int which the paras would have gathered by now. We will start to neutralize. So that's in a nutshell what we are trying to do. It's one of the most complex exercises. That's what I wanted to reiterate. Very challenging, completely affected by weather. The sea state, you can see what is behind us, and also the wind. So even if the winds become start to pick up beyond about 10 knots, then you find this challenge taking place.
There are also current and future challenges. The Chinese PLA Navy plans recent unveiling of a class of amphibious assault barges signifies a major leap in its expeditionary and logistical capabilities. These modular, self-propelled jack-up barges, designed to link together and form extended piers from deep water to shore, serve to bypass the need for established port infrastructure during amphibious landings. Though analysts say the primary objective could potentially be for any future action in reclaiming Taiwan, how do these new or adapted technologies impact India?
The Chinese are thinking quite hard about greater efficiencies, offensive efficiencies in their quest to retake Taiwan, a quest that they've never really given up. So they are looking at better ways of doing that, and these barges with to beaches and bridges and barges are actually just a manifestation of certain old ideas with newer technologies and more rapidity with which they can mount an assault and sustain that assault. Somebody like the Chinese are thinking of taking over some islands in the Andamans like that. Then of course, firstly, we have to have an early warning system where we are able to track and where necessary destroy a naval formation that might be so approaching the Andaman Islands, either through Indonesian gaps or through the Malacca Strait. So with Taiwan the situation is different because it is so much closer to the Chinese mainland. So that would be important. But we have to watch overall Chinese capabilities, and not only the barges with bridges, but overall space capabilities and air expeditionary capabilities also.
The ANC's capabilities are perfectly exemplified in their war cry and motto, Sange Shakti, together we are stronger. Post the exercises, we take the opportunity to meet some locals. A short walk through a jungle track leads us to a group of them.
दादा आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम ऑगस्टिन।
ऑस्टिन?
ऑगस्टिन।
अहोस्टिन?
जी सर।
अहोस्टिन। उनका क्या नाम? ऑगस्टिन।
मेरा नाम ऑगस्टिन।
ऑगस्टिन।
हम लोग का गाँव का वहाँ जुगमा जी।
अच्छा, तो गांव में सब मछली पकड़ते हैं या कोई खेती करते हैं, क्या करते हैं आप?
नहीं, हम लोग सिर्फ मच्छी पकड़ते हैं सर।
मच्छी पकड़ते हैं?
जी।
तो मच्छी जो लाते हैं आप अपने लिए खाने के लिए?
हम लोग पिकरी करते हैं सर।
क्या करते हैं?
पिकरी करते हैं सर।
पिकरी
मतलब जो लोग दुकान चलाते नहीं,
हाँ,
हम उसलिए के लोग देता, फिर वो लोग बिक्री करता है, फिर वो लोग
जब बिक्री करता है।
जी सर।
बाकी जो खाना है वो कैसे?
बाकी जो खाना हम लोग वहाँ से लेके आते हैं सर, बंगाली।
वहाँ क्या है?
बंगाली हेडक्वार्टर है।
अच्छा, हेडक्वार्टर है
जी।
वहाँ राशन शॉप मिलता है?
जी सर।
यहाँ प्राइमरी स्कूल है क्या?
है जी सर, चुकमाची में और इतरी पे मिन्युक।
वो कितने क्लास तक है?
5 तक।
5 तक? आप
जी सर।
5 तक पढ़े हैं वहाँ ना? टीम नहीं सर। आपको यहाँ से दूसरा आइलैंड में जाना है? यहीं पे? बाहर नहीं जाना, देखना नहीं है कि बाहर क्या है। यहाँ पे खुश, एकदम खुश यहाँ पे?
जी सर।
आपका कोई परिवार है दूसरा द्वीप में?
कोई लोग है सर, लेकिन वो साइड का है, बम्बू का।
आते हैं, आप जाते हैं?
जी सर, कभी कभी आते हैं, कभी कभी हम लोग भी जाते हैं उस लोग के पास,
तो आप
मौसम देख करके।
आप लोग सब क्रिश्चियन हो?
जी सर।
तो चर्च है यहाँ पे?
जी सर।
सही बात है। बिजली है क्या?
जी सर।
सब कोई दिक्कत
नहीं है सर।
आप ये बताओ, आपका जो ज़िंदगी है ना, आप खुश हो ना यहाँ पे?
जी सर।
अच्छा लगता है आपको?
अच्छा लगता सर।
ये कौन सी लैंग्वेज, भाषा कौन सी बोलते हैं आप?
निकोबारी।
निकोबारी सर।
निकोबारी।
जी सर।
यहाँ पे टीवी आता है?
जी सर।
मूवीज देखते हो? कौन सा?
कोई भी मूवी।
फेवरेट कौन है? हीरो
कौन? हम लोग का टाइगर श्रॉफ।
अच्छा, टाइगर श्रॉफ।
और एक्ट्रेस, हीरोइन?
हीरोइन हाँ, तमन्ना। जी।
तमन्ना छोड़ के और कोई पसंद नहीं है?
नहीं सर, और कोई नहीं है।
थैंक यू सो मच।
ओके, यू वेलकम सर। ओके सर।
We walk along the beach to return to our embarkation point.
बोला था ना मैंने, आज बीच डे है।
It's time to head back to the Saryu on our Gemini with a few more adventures while dropping personnel off on the way.
Geo, confirm we have one more Gemini standby.
I catch a finger between the rope ladder and the ship's surface while climbing back onto the Saryu's quarterdeck. My weight on the rope making it all that more difficult to extract my hand.
The ladder, so the hand got stuck under the rope, and my weight was pulling down.
But it's nothing that a quick visit to the sick bay and a couple of minutes of an ice pack can't sort out. From Tarasa, we continue our journey further south, underscoring the strategic significance of India's Andaman and Nicobar Command. These islands are not just remote outposts, they are India's vigilant eyes and ears, guarding critical maritime highways that connect the Indian Ocean to the Pacific. This is India's springboard to project its maritime power, securing the country's future in the blue expanse.